Okay,
Hello,
yeah.
everyone. Welcome. We are live. I have Diana with me. Hello, Diana.
Good evening, good morning to Australia. Good evening from
Yeah.
Belgium.
Good evening to Europe. Yeah. So today we're talking a little bit about X-Men, but in particular autism and some of the different disabilities and what's actually the abilities behind the disabilities.
Yes, and I wanted to speak a little bit about you or to ask you about because when we are talking in the German groups or with German people who attend some access bars class or so on, they have a lot of judgments and point of views about these things called autism, called IDSS, OCD, and so on. And unfortunately, I have not the XMen manual with me, but as I read the chapter about autism, and I swear I never had thought about me that I'm autistic. I read it and I am autistic, and that kicks me really in the X-Men 2 day class. And maybe you can talk a little bit about that. What is the judgment in the human reality about this disabilities, and what are the difference or the gift even in just those
Yeah. Yeah. So I
disabilities?
I had something very similar to you. I was at a 7 day class with Gary Douglas, and he just said, "Are you autistic?" And I was like, "That makes no sense to me whatsoever," but I get a big yes. And so I started to actually look, more at what it was, and started to like do some research and look at some information, and then I came across more of the X-Men materials, and that's when I really started to get like a better sense of what it actually was. And as I started to like look into these materials, there were all of these moments that I can like remember in my life where I made myself really wrong for all different things, and I was looking at this material going, oh my god, I'm not actually fucked up, I'm just different. I'm just like I just have a different way of functioning than what's normal for most people. And so autism in particular is a like it's so most people will function from like a left brain and a right brain, but autism is a whole brain function. And people that are autistic tend not to function in a logical linear way, and so you cannot like basically use linearity and logic to appeal to them because they don't. It's just like doesn't exist. It's like not a reality. So they function in a very different way, and they're often very highly energetic and highly aware of the energy. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a little bit about it.
Yes, and I in school or even later at work before, they always judge me. You are so sensitive. Yeah, yes, I was very yes, and I was only aware. But what is it, and what can we do in this situation when you are highly aware but you can't deal with it? Have you?
Yeah. So I
Uh,
mean, this is the other thing about like people with autism is the like I was talking about with the energy. It's like that tends to be heightened, and so as an autistic person, you walk into a room and it's like you're just aware of everything that's going on in that room. It's just there for you, okay? And I didn't recognize for a long time that that was different. I always thought that was normal. And I was always the shy one, that would not look anyone in the eyes and would like avoid conversation and social situations. And I didn't realize it was because of this, like this ability to be aware of all of this stuff that no one was talking about. Um, and so with the X-Men tools, what it really gave me was this ability to acknowledge my awareness and not be the effect of it anymore. Because
yeah.
just because you're aware of something doesn't mean you have to do anything with it, but it's like it's a little bit of a muscle that you also have to build, and we've got some great tools for that in the X-Men classes.
It's awesome, and I wish I had this tool a couple of years ago,
Me
because
too.
because you, as you said, you enter a room and you are highly aware, and I realized as I was always attention that it must be always really harmonic. I don't want disputes or something else. And so I was aware when something don't work with the other person or something going wrong, and I ask her, can I contribute, can I help, is there something wrong, what is it, can we talk about it? And they look at me, what do you want? Yes.
They're like, this is annoying. I'm trying to do trauma and drama right now. Can you go away and let me do it?
And I really made myself wrong because I didn't realize what happened. I was only aware of so much stuff going on and wanted to fix it. And
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and that's the key thing really, is that when you have like the awareness of so much of what's going on, and like not just recognizing, what's not yours, what doesn't actually apply to you, and then it gives you a sense of relaxation and peace with your awareness that nothing else really gave me. And I tried all sorts of things. I went to the caves in the Himalayas to meditate, and that didn't work. I did all kinds of things. So it's like the the peace and the like the ease with my awareness from using these Access XMen tools is beyond anything I imagined was possible before. Really.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
for someone like me who can sit still about more than 5 minutes, and think with meditation don't really work.
Exactly. It's like, oh my god, I've got ants in my pants. Can I go and do something now? I've got enough energy to light up a few cities right now.
Uh, awesome. Yes, and really, really, it helps me so much. And as you said, it gives very lot of ease and relaxation in my world. Even after bath, already the bath was a great gift for me, and I didn't made it in relation to the X-Men stuff, but this with that,
Oh, yeah, the
so
and the
awesome.
access bars is the beginning of receiving, and as an X-Men as well, it's like if you have not had your bars run, you're crazy, because basically X-Men are like, and especially the like with the autistic capacity, you'll be aware of everything around you. Okay, and so a lot of that stuff you've bought is yours, and it's like you start to lock it into your reality. The bars helps you dissipate all of that stuff and let go of it. And it's like, it is such a gift. I had my bars run yesterday, and it was like one of those sessions that was just like, where you feel like, yeah, just like,
Absolutely.
and yeah, it was amazing. So much more space afterwards.
Yes, and I remembered so many times when going to a bar session, and I really pay attention that I get my bath run once a week minimum. So I get there, I was like, and she's like, lay down, my friend. And after that, I stand up, okay, what was the problem? Really, so much ease. And maybe we can talk about another topic. I just heard had a message from a German CF, and she asked me about the X-Men classes. What is
But
it? Hmm?
before we do that, sorry,
Yeah.
someone left a comment, and I think maybe if we can we address that one first?
Okay.
So she said, or sorry, I can't see. It just says Facebook user, so it could be a girl, it could be a guy, but it says, can you guys talk about all about functioning in this reality while being so different? For example, today I was at a cafe outdoors. Everyone was so quiet, and then this guy rolled up on his bike, blasting music, and it made me start moving and dancing in my seat, and he was totally not normal and having so much fun, and I was aware how weird we were, and I kept trying to make other people's more stagnant reality greater than mine. Yeah. And that's a really great example of where basically it's like a lot of what we are taught is to fit in, and in order to fit in, you have to like limit and contract the energy that you are to be more like others. If you're being everything that you are, it's like you have all energies available to you, and you have choice, and you just have to be willing to be judged, because people are going to judge you when you're different, because you don't fit. And from their point of view, they're like, how come you don't fit? And they start trying to figure it out, and they start trying to make you fit into their reality. But have you guys noticed that none of you really fit? You're different. You're weird. You're
Yes.
wacky. You're wonderful.
I love the word the Misfits.
Yeah,
It's just a band name, the Misfits.
yeah, I like it. Someone also said, "Are my favorite people to hang out with are on the spectrum?" And yes, that would be because they're your people. You communicate with them in a different way. They get you, and you don't have to be something you're not when you're with people who receive you that way. So
Mm.
I get it. I totally get it. And Diana, sorry, what was your? You were mentioning that someone, CF, had contacted you and wants to know more about.
Yeah, just I told you already something about XMen 1 day class or XMen 2 day class. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what is the difference between the 1 day class and the 2 day class. And yes.
Yeah, so I would say the 1 day class, which is called the Undiscovered Possibilities, it's kind of like the first real deep dive that people get usually into, like, what is X-Men, what are the different like capacities, and where like where have you been hiding, what's different about you. It's really like that energy of undiscovering what's different about you. And then the disabilities or abilities class is a much more in-depth dive into like what some of the actual disabilities are, and then what some of the abilities that have been labeled as disabilities are. So you get this sort of like more of a full picture of all of the information that's available for X-Men, and every class is so different. I've done so many, and it's like none of them are the same. So something different shows up on all of them, but they all have that sort of thread in common, I guess.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
for example, a great example for me was turning a disability to an ability was, for example, then to acknowledge I can't concentrate myself for one thing for a longer time. And
Yeah.
of course, I was judged in school, at work, and so on. And now I have so much ease to be aware of minimum 5, 10 things at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great example. I love that example. And, it's so true. It's like we're taught, you have to focus and concentrate. But what if having your awareness across many different things actually created more ease for you and was actually a place where there is more creation available to you?
Yes, and
Um,
it's exactly that's a judge disability and know to acknowledge it and to turn it into a great ability. And so many people who ask me, "Man, how do you manage all the translation, all those things you have going on, and so on?" That's,
yeah. Yeah, and
it's like,
I love that, and it's so cool to see the energy with this in your world because it's so different. That's what I love about the X-Men classes too. It's like people stop judging themselves for what they've decided is wrong about them, and they just change this point of view, and they start to look at, well, okay, if I didn't judge this anymore, what capacity would it be? How can I actually use this to create? And you start changing that one point of view, and people's lives change dynamically, and they get
absolutely.
happier, they laugh more, and they have way more fun.
I can totally agree to that, and really invite the people to go to these X-Men classes. If there's something you have judged in yourself or so on, if there's just a little point, you say, yes, that's me. I just can only invite you. And you will discover much, much more.
Yeah. And the lady who asked the question before also replied, and they said, I guess I keep thinking if I don't appear normal, I won't be able to create a thriving life. Like if everyone sees you as weird and judges you, can you still thrive? I would say if you truly look at it, it's like, do you want to be the person who, dances on the street when a motorbike rides past with some good music? Or do you want to be the person that shuts themselves down and, doesn't allow that to be there? So it's like, what is thriving to you? And it's like, to me, it's pretty clear what creates a thriving life and a thriving living. And judgment is just a point of view, okay? And most people who are judging you are judging what they actually desire to choose. So if you recognize that, it might give you a different place where you're willing to receive it.
Cool.
So Viv also said that she attended a XMen class with me, and it created so much peace and space around the intense wrongness she used to automatically go to. Thank you, Viv. Yeah, and lots of people on here. Thank you so much, all of you. And Diana, thanks so much for having this conversation. It's awesome.
Yes,
And I look
awesome.
forward to seeing you very soon.
Yes, then Wednesday evening for European time for the
Yeah.
2-day class.
Yes.
It's prereq the 1-day class or foundation, so don't
Exactly.
hesitate.
Yeah.
So Wednesday evening, 9 p.m. Central European time, and I'm happy to see you again. Have a nice morning, Sul.
Thank you. You too.
Nice day. Yes.
Bye.
Bye bye.